good morning from Ho Chi Minh City. I'm at the Nhat International Airport. Just checked into my flight from Ho Chi Minh City down to Singapore on board Vietnam Airlines VN651. The service leaves at 9 o'clock a.m. So I've still got a bit of time, 3 hours until departure. Boarding starts at 8:10 a.m. There isn't any queue at this time in the morning, which has been good. Check-in was a breeze. The counter staff were very friendly and very polite. This will be my first time taking Vietnam Airlines, so I'm looking forward to getting on board and checking out the service and sharing the experience with you. Now, although the airline counters didn't have any queue, there is a long queue at this time in the morning. It's not even 6 o'clock for the customs area, so just be aware. There is quite a bit of a wait at this time in the morning. It's a Monday morning here in Ho Chi Minh City. For myself, I've got an APEC Business Traveler card which allows me to go into a separate line, so that should hopefully save a lot of time. So after clearing customs and security checks, I'm here at the Star Cafe, which is to your left after clearing security. Got with me some breakfast, a large cappuccino, a ham and cheese croissant, and an orange juice. Just gonna sit down here, finish my breakfast, do some work, and hop on board at around 8 o'clock. And behind me is the aircraft that we'll be taking down to Singapore today. It's a 12-year-old Airbus A321-200, delivered fresh to Vietnam Airlines in July 2011. The registration number is VNA326. And the aircraft has just arrived at Gate 9. Passengers are disembarking from the previous flight. And down on this level, you get a fantastic view of the taxi area and the airport apron. You can see a lot of aircraft, bus movements, baggage movements. At around 8:30 a.m, boarding commenced down the jet bridge, which was actually placed up against the aircraft. This was something that I found a little surprising, as passengers disembarking from the previous flight needed to go down the temporary stairs and down onto the tarmac onto waiting buses to the arrivals lounge. So that is something interesting to take note of. If you are arriving into Ho Chi Minh International Airport, be aware that not all, if any, gates have jet bridges attached for disembarkation. I understand that a new Terminal 3 is currently under construction and will be ready in a couple of years, so hopefully this solves that problem. And upon reaching my seat 14A, I proceeded to do a seat tour. However, looking back at the footage, I realized that my microphone was not working properly for some reason, so I'm here doing a quick voiceover. The first thing to note is that this seat does not have an in-flight entertainment screen, but for a short-haul flight, that is not an issue at all. There is a fold-out table for a hot meal service, which we will go through in a bit, a literature pocket with an in-flight safety card, as well as an in-flight magazine. There is so much space on this flight. I am 5'9", but I think people who are 6 foot and above would have no issues stretching out comfortably on this short hop from Vietnam to Singapore. The audio system is one of the more dated systems, as one would expect from an aircraft that is over 10 years old. There is volume buttons as well as a channel button. The major thing to note about this seat is that there is no window next to you. Instead, there is a panel, presumably because the row behind is the emergency exit row. And so this chair does not recline, nor does it have a window. Now, there is a small porthole immediately to the left and behind my head, where there is a view that you can look through if you crane your head around. However, there is no proper full-sized window for this seat. Just something to note. And just prior to pushback and the safety video being played, the cabin crew came around with a wet towelette, which was a nice touch. So even for a short 1 hour 45-minute flight, there is a meal service that's provided. We've just got our meals. Choices today are rice with beef or potato with fish. I've gone with the rice with beef option. In addition to that main meal, there is also a bread bun provided, banana, and a drinks service as well. That's the drinks cart. Even though it's the morning as well, there's still wine provided, so not sure. Debating if I'm having rice with beef. I guess I have to go with red wine, right? And a quick review of the food. The beef is actually very flavorful, not too tough. The veggies are cooked nicely. The rice is very fragrant. It's a solid overall dish for a morning flight that's so short, less than 2 hours. I think it's wonderful that you have a proper, decent, hot meal service, which is quite rare even on full service carriers nowadays. Thumbs up to Vietnam Airlines for a solid meal with, obviously can't forget the red wines that's served on a morning flight. It's fantastic, actually. Thumbs up. And to round off the meal service, the cabin crew came around with a selection of coffee and tea. After a relatively quick post-meal snooze, an announcement was made that we were commencing our descent, and the cabin crew came around to do their final preparations. Before doing so, the cabin crew bowed to all passengers in the plane, which I thought was an incredibly polite gesture.
Cabin crew check cabin delay for landing.
Today's approach into Singapore's Changi airport was particularly impressive. On a clear day, out of the left side of the aircraft, if you are landing from the south, you get a fantastic view of downtown Singapore. Enjoy. Welcome to Changi Airport Terminal 3. We've arrived at gate A18. The aircraft is just behind me. We've just disembarked. The time now is just after 11 o'clock in the morning here in Singapore. It's 31 degrees Celsius, bright and sunny. We had a beautiful landing into Changi Airport. Just a quick summary of the trip. The cabin crew were exceptionally polite. They did bows to the passengers before takeoff and just before landing. The meal service was a highlight. I wasn't expecting a full hot meal to come around, complete with drinks as well. So that was a bonus. Because the passengers next to me were having a rest and sleeping, I didn't want to trouble them to use the bathroom, so I didn't manage to see the bathrooms, but I guess flight reviews elsewhere would showcase what the conditions and what you can expect on a typical A321 bathroom. The aircraft itself was very well maintained, very well kept. Seats were very comfortable. I had a good rest, even though the aircraft itself is already 12 years old. The livery, I would add, is stunning. I've always enjoyed looking at the design. I think the color, greenish kind of teal color, complements any aircraft model very well. So I love the paint scheme. Otherwise, yeah, back to Singapore, back to routine in terms of heading back to Vietnam. I hope to get back there soon. I had a wonderful time there, 1.5 weeks remote working, seeing the country, and I would have no hesitation taking Vietnam Airlines again. But I hope you enjoyed that flight review, and I'll hope to see you in the next video.